Hello, everyone. My name is Sonia, also known as SG from Let the Lady Speak podcast. We discuss life, love, dating, and relationships. We promote healing, self love, and enjoying your life in your singleness. So today I'm going to review season 2 of Put a Ring on It. Thank you guys. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you for the thumbs up and interaction. And thank you for requesting this video. It was 2 people, but I still appreciate it very much because you don't have to do it. With this show, I watched it season 1. So I'm curious about season 2. I love the fact that Dr. Nicole is here. I wish Ready to Love would get some help. Like they should have some support and coaching, I feel. Some therapists, things like that. I feel just because it's one thing to have people on TV for entertainment, but it's another to really do something to help the community and help people with these issues. It's kind of like I'm going to watch you, pay you, put you out there, and then send you out with no resources or tools to be better. That's just my opinion. So I really, really enjoyed Dr. Nicole last season. So I'm curious to see how this season is going to play out. Now, I watched episode 1 like on a plane, and I thought about reviewing it, and then I was like, maybe not. But 2 people say yes, so here we go. So if you've never watched Put a Ring on It before, Put a Ring on It is basically 3 couples that Dr. Nicole, I believe she really is a psychiatrist or psychologist. She does couples counseling, but she introduced herself this time as a coach, a master relationship coach. But she is licensed in therapy. Anyway, they go see Dr. Nicole. These couples are couples that are not married. They're not engaged. They're at a crossroads, and this journey is to determine whether or not they're ready to get married and move forward, or if they should call it quits. And a form of the therapy that they go through is that Dr. Nicole sends them on dates with people whom she believes will meet the need that the individuals in the relationship is saying that they're not getting from their mate. Because sometimes you don't know what you got until, you go to the other side. Grass is greener scenario. Or, you may or may not realize that this person is great for you and you want to go, or, you know what? It's better that we part ways. So that is the premise of the show. So we have 3 couples, like I said. The first couple is Sean and LaRonda. Sean is more of a creative. LaRonda is a career woman. And you can tell that LaRonda is very, like, I won't say alpha because I don't like using that, but she's a very independent woman type, and there isn't anything wrong with that. And Sean is more of a creator, like I'm up in the air. So it's like up in the air. So it's like you have someone who's really structured, and then you have someone who's a little more laid back. Now, they've been together 3 years, and he says, I want to make sure basically that he's financially stable and he's done the things that he feels like he should do before they get married, before he proposed. He said he has his proposal speech. So he wants her, he's chosen her, and according to like what they've shown, he's really into her. He said he's already done his proposal speech. He's just waiting to be where he wants to be. And here's the thing with men, and I know this from men, that if they are really into someone, sometimes they don't. They want to make sure that they can be the man that they're supposed to be. And she feels like it's excuses. Now, we're going to find out later if he's just using these things as excuses and there's other barriers, or is he really trying to be in a place. But I do know of men who will not marry unless they are fully into their purpose. They want to know that they can take care of you financially, that you will be secure, and that you will be safe. And if that's the case, I feel like that's commendable. But if that's not the case, again, we'll find out. I don't agree ever with pressuring someone into trying to marry you before they're ready, because you don't want to build that place of resentment. People become resentful, especially if things don't work out the way that they think they should. So that's the story on Sean and LaRonda. The next couple we have is Alexia and Darren. Alexia and Darren has been together for 14 years, and he says he knows that she is the best. She's wifey material. She's always there for him. She'll pick his nose if she saw a booger in his nose. But he has seen marriages fail. Once the ring comes, marriages fail. So that's his hesitancy. And she's like, well, how much longer do you want me to wait? Here's the thing now. Now, they did meet, I think she was in college. So they're college sweethearts. But 14 years is a long time. And for him to still have that fear, there's a lot of work that needs to be done if you have that much fear about marrying the person whom you say is everything that you're looking for in a mate. Next up, we have Eric and Jessica. Eric and Jessica have been together for 4 years. I keep looking up. Sorry, guys. Erica and Jessica have been together for 4 years. Eric says that Jessica is his homie lover friend, and she's like, oh, that's cute. Eric used to play for the NFL, and that has caused him to have some trust issues. And she says that, basically he wants to be out smashing. So basically he wants to still live a single life or the NFL life. I'm guessing that's what she's trying to say. And so if they get married, that will mean they're together. Yes, they will be legally married, but who he is as a person and where he is right now in his life will be where he's at. So yeah, you will be the wife, but that doesn't mean he's not going to cheat. And it doesn't mean that he is ready to commit to the relationship. So, I mean, when people tell you who they are and when people tell you where they are and what their insecurities are and that they're not ready to commit to you, you just have to accept that and decide how you're going to move forward. It's never a good idea to try to push them into your direction. You always want them to make that decision and be in that place. When a man is ready to be better for you, he is going to be better for you. Just like if he wants you, he's going to come and get you. He's going to find a way to pursue you. Very, very few, like the guy Christian on Ready to Love, he's like painfully shy. But most of the time, 99% of the time, if a man wants you, he's coming for you. If he feels like that you're the one and it's time for him to make that change, when he's ready, he's going to make that change. So we're going to see. But this show has someone who can help them. So we're going to go from there. So Dr. Nicole has everyone write down the rules for dating. What can't your partner do? And everyone is saying don't exchange phone numbers, Instagram accounts, social media accounts, no hugging, kissing, touching. Some of the guys are like, well, touch my woman and get touched. But on the other hand, they're like, that's ridiculous. You don't want me to date. So Dr. Nicole says what she hears is fear. And basically, you guys are going to cross these boundaries. Which normally isn't promoted. Normally therapists are like, you have to set up boundaries, right? But I understand this is for the show. And basically what she's saying is, can you trust yourself and can you trust your partner? And does your partner really want to do the right thing by you? So I get it. So she says there aren't going to be any rules. Last season, they had rules. And you were expected to follow your partner's rule. But this season, there are no rules. She had them tear it up. So we're going to see what happens. What's his name? Sean says because of how he used to be, he has some insecurities. And, a lot of times, not a lot of times, most of the time, karma comes back to find you. So, be careful how you treat people. So this is going to be interesting. So first up is going to be Eric. Eric is going on his date. His date comes to the house. Well, before I get there. So Eric is putting on all his jewelry. And he asks for the cologne that his woman bought him. He's like, maybe I should wear that cologne. I'm gonna tell you what you're not gonna do. We not gonna play those games, ladies. We all know how we are about some good smelling cologne. No, sir. You gonna get another bottle that you bought, not that I bought. I bought it because it's for me. But anyway, so guys, if you hear a lot of noise, they are there's firecrackers and everything else going on outside. Anyway, so Eric is up. Eric is talking about how, it's nice to see Jessica jealous because it lets him know that she cares. That is just toxicity at its finest. Because making her jealous isn't going to do anything for you. Like, that's not how you show you she cares. She shows you she cares, I hope, in other ways. It shouldn't be out of jealousy. And I know a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people are like, if my ex used to say that all the time. If he thought he was making me jealous, it did something for him. And so sometimes I will play the game. I'll never do that crap again. Here's the thing. Jealousy has nothing to do with it. I want you to live your life and be happy. I'm not about to play the whole jealous game. If you can't feel love from a person just by them showing you acts of love, by them making sure that you're okay, by them encouraging you, supporting you, like things that make sense to me, then I don't know about that kind of relationship. So Eric, and I think her name was Shamar, went on. I didn't write her name down. So Eric and Shamar goes on their date. They just go have a glass of wine, which I love those kind of dates. Let's just have a drink and talk for a little bit. That way, if I'm through this glass of wine and you're not my cup of tea, we can both walk away, no hard feelings, and let that be that. Anyway, you can tell he just wants to make sure he still has it. You can tell that his identity, and he admits to it later, his identity is wrapped up in his image. And so he's flirting with her, but he did make a good point. He was like, I like what she's saying. I like the conversation and the chemistry, but I don't know if she can offer me more than my girl, than Jessica. And considering the fact they're trying to determine whether or not the grass is greener, that makes sense. The thing with him though is, if it wasn't for the cameras, I can tell he would cross boundaries. And he even talked about how they got together because she asked him about, has there been any infidelity or anything in the relationship? And he said, yeah, that's how it started. And the old saying goes, how you get your man is how you lose your man, right? And not to mention, like, ladies, when you meet a man and you know he has a woman and you deal with him when he has a woman, he's going to feel like you're okay with that. That's going to always be in the back of his mind. He's going to feel like either he can treat you like that because you're okay, because you were accepting of it, right? You may say you weren't accepting of it. You're going to think you're different from her. But in all honesty, you're really not. So if you meet someone and they are unfaithful to their mate or they can't settle down, you cannot assume that that person is going to change. Remember, when you're dating and you guys get into a relationship, you have to remember that everything that you see and know and are learning about that person may never change. That may be who they are, and you have to determine if that's something you want to live with. So the fact that he's an unfaithful guy means, for me, it means he lacks integrity. So that's a problem for me. But if you know that he's an unfaithful guy, you should know that he may be unfaithful to you. And if you're looking for a monogamous relationship and someone to be faithful and respectful of your relationship, this person may not be that. So then you decide how to move forward. But if you move forward hoping that he would change, let me tell you, good looks can't change his mind. Great sex can't change his mind. Good cooking can't change his mind. Having kids can't change his mind. If that man's mind doesn't want to change because he wants to change his mind, nothing's going to change his mind. He's going to be who he's going to be. And you should always look at it from the angle of, if this person remains who they are in this moment, can I handle that? is that going to be okay with me? And that's just kind of how you have to look at it. So Darian is up next, and I have one word: disrespectful. Disrespectful. He is. I don't. For one, I don't like fast talkers, and I don't mean fast talkers in the tone of the speed of your talk is or cadence is fast. I mean fast talking, right? Full of crap type deal. And he's like, yeah, Dr. Nicole said it's about the process and so on and so forth. But he was all too happy to go on that date. And Alexia said that, like, you shouldn't be that happy. He is excited. And he's at the door, like, oh, man. And he's hugging her. She's like, you smell good. And then when Alexia asked, what did he do when, she said, what did he did? What did he do when he came to the door? And she's like, nothing. That one right there, that's a no. Ladies, you have to be respectful of another lady that did not disrespect you. And why would I say that? One, because you should. But two, what you put out in the world, you get back. Karma is a son of a somebody. And again, like I just said, how you get your man is how you going to lose him. It's how he's going to treat you, and he's going to feel like you're okay with it because you're going along with it, right? You went along with it when it was somebody else. Why did you think you were different? And she's just wholly inappropriate. She was flirting. She was letting him know, well, we can get it popping. And he was curious and all too happy to go along with the botchery of it all. So yeah, I don't know about Darian. I don't know, but I felt I felt like his behavior was disrespectful. That's your lady of 14 years. This is your home. This other lady is in your home. You don't have to gawk and all of that after her. I get it. He jokes a lot, and I think joking around and all of the distractions is his way of coping with situations, but I don't find it healthy. And again, I found his behavior to be disrespectful and unnecessary. Sean is getting ready to go on his date, and LaRonda has a few questions like, who's walking in the front, who's walking in the back, because they're going hiking. So basically, are you going to be looking at her butt? I need to understand what's happening. And poor Sean's like, I don't know. We gonna see. She's like, you gonna keep your shirt on? Or you taking your shirt off? Like, what's happening? Let me set the scene for me. Anyway, the young lady comes to the house, and Sean's like, we hug here. And LaRonda's like, yeah, we hug here. Yeah, we gonna all share this. But she was cool. She didn't come off like, she didn't come. You can tell they have a friendly relationship, and you can tell that she's competitive. And so they just have like that nature in their relationship. But yeah, we'll see. Baby, Kai is wholly inappropriate. So she's asking Darian these questions. Like, Darian had to throw in there about him. So Darian says, what kind of music you listen to? And then he lets her know that he was in a group, and they talk about that a little bit. And he says, you fit the criteria of what a celebrity is looking for. What criteria is that, sir? Darian is problematic, okay? And so is Kai, because she doesn't respect boundaries. And he's clearly attracted to her, and he's letting it be known, and she's flirting with him, and it's going too far too soon. And my issue was that is you still have to respect your lady and respect this relationship. Like, you guys are on TV. And granted, this could all be entertainment. They could be acting. It could not be true. That could be the case. But for the sake of this is all true, don't be disrespectful like that. Don't do your girl like that. Like, don't disrespect your relationship like that. I just feel like he's gone way too far. And ladies, it's never a good idea again I don't like when women disrespect other women. I don't like it. I don't like when they cross that boundary. You should never want to inflict the pain on another woman that you yourself have received or don't want to receive. And I've been young and I've been there. I've been there, honey. I'm not gonna act like I'm an angel, but trust me, I learned on that. And when that karma came knocking on my door, it knocked hard and kicked the door in. And from that moment on, and this was in my early 20s, my mid 20s, from that moment on, I decided I would never, never, ever, ever be okay with, if you are in a situationship, you got a girlfriend, a live-in girlfriend, I don't care if y'all broke up and sleep in separate rooms, like all of that other stuff, I don't want anything to do with. Not to mention, that's a dangerous game. Like, people get really hurt and or killed for playing those kind of games. You don't play with the heart. Matters of the heart is that's like playing with somebody's money or child. It's just some things you just don't do. So I don't like how Kai is conducting herself, because she's putting a hardcore press on this guy, and I don't like how he's conducting himself, because he's out here acting like he's single. He's not in a whole 14-year relationship. So, but he's looking for something new. He wants something fresh. She said he's not a cheater, but he's not behaving in a way that shows he's not a cheater. So Sean and his date are driving to the location, and they're just talking, getting to know each other. And Sean explains the dynamic of his relationship with LaRonda and the young lady Sean is with. There really wasn't too much going on there, but Sean did say that he felt like his date with LaRonda was a little too perfect, and it was scary to him. These men are easily swayed. That's all I have to say. I know there's a lot that we don't see, but they're easily swayed for men who are in love and are in these super committed relationships. See, I told y'all this Darian is going to be, he's problematic. So he basically has one foot out of the door, and according to his behavior, in my opinion. So he says, he comes back and, she asks how it went, and he basically said, it didn't go how I thought it would go, because basically this young lady is intelligent. Now, we didn't hear their whole conversation, so I don't know. But he talks about how she's intelligent, and a woman that looks like that and smells like that and got a booty like that. And I'm like, you're just going too far. And here's the thing. I'm not even the kind of person that says you can't have a transparent conversation with your mate. I know plenty of couples that'll look at a woman and say, oh, she's nice looking and things like that. I do believe that you guys should be true friends, like really, really good friends. But they've been together for 14 years. She said he's never talked about another woman like this. So I know he probably feels like, I get extra. Plus he's on TV. He get to, play a role a little bit. But I'm big on respect. And he's just disrespectful, because then he starts telling her, she don't do that. She don't talk to me like that. Like, you're already comparing your woman to another woman. And not even already, you're comparing your woman to another woman. Like, that's wholly out of pocket. He's so out of pocket. I have issues. I have issues with Darian already. Like, he's gonna be the problem child out of the group. I think it's gonna be him. Then what's his name? Because he's confused too. It'll be Darian, then Eric, then Sean. So Sean has some secrets that he has to let go of. And again, Eric is kind of having an identity crisis, in my opinion. The couples meet back with Dr. Nicole. So the couples are meeting with Dr. Nicole. And Dr. Nicole says, so Dr. Nicole says, frigidity allows things to break. Vulnerability and flexibility allows growth, which I completely agree with. And she said, you'll be surprised at the end of the day, you guys have choices. And that is the truth. Everyone has a choice. You always have a choice to stay or leave. You don't have to get permission from another person to leave or to stay. You don't have to. Everybody has a choice. And if this relationship isn't making you happy, if they're not nurturing you, supporting you, loving you, being an asset in your life, you don't have to stay. And they don't have to say they don't want you for you to say, I'm leaving. you can leave at any time. Unless you guys are married, you can leave at any time. And even with marriage, there is divorce. And I don't even promote that, but I think a lot of people, I watch a lot of people, and I have myself have been there, where you stay in relationships waiting on the other person to make a decision, but you're the one that's unhappy. And I remember waking up, like I had just had this, I was sitting on the side of the bed and I said, why am I waiting for him to make the decision? I'm unhappy, you know? And again, because I'm hard headed, God let me know, hey, he's never going to be what you want him to be. So you have to decide. You have to decide for yourself if a situation is where you want to be. You can't hope that they're going to change and make everything okay for you. So Dr. Nicole asked Darian how was his relationship. Now, as tough as I've been on Darian, I'm going to say this. He was saying a lot in that moment, but he showed he had an inability to communicate. He basically was saying, I haven't felt this way in years. Like, basically, we know each other. There's no more flirting. There's no more freshness. There's no more, all of those things that he loved. And he was saying that it reminded him of his relationship with, what's his lady's name? Yeah, it's going to take me a minute to get these names. His relationship with Alexia. So the date reminded him of what him and Alexia had in the beginning. And Alexia was like, don't compare me to another woman. And I get what she's saying and I understand why she's saying it. But here's the thing. If you really want to know what your partner's concerns are, you have to ask those questions. And you have to hear things you don't want to hear. And sometimes we don't want our partner to say that they're not happy with us, but we want them to be happy. And you have to want to know what makes them happy and what they feel like is missing. Now, she said he needs to look in the mirror, because if he doesn't, promote romance, he's not going to get it, which is very true. Like, it's kind of hard when other things are happening, and I'm guessing we're going to find out what those things are that's making it so that she doesn't want to be romantic with him. But that doesn't negate that that's how he feels. He feels like, I don't get this anymore and I miss it. And you, as a partner, if you're saying you really want to work on a relationship, you got to listen to it. You may not want to hear it, but you have to listen to what it is that they're saying and digest it and determine if you want to pivot that way or not. Because you have choices. You don't have to. And that's basically what Dr. Nicole said. You have to be willing to listen. It's always a choice. It's your relationship. You cannot. But at the end of the day, what is your goal? If your goal is to work it out and stay together, then you're going to have to hear some things you don't want to have. You don't want to hear. Baby, when I tell you I love me some Dr. Nicole, like, we got work to do. Anyway, Eric and Jessica are up next. And Eric is talking about how he went on his date and he enjoyed himself and the chemistry was there. And if he wasn't in a relationship, he knows that he could have gone home and came back the next morning. And so Jessica's like, came back the next morning, you're going to smash. And then, I hate that term, smash. I cannot stand that term. But basically, he would have had an intimate night with the lady. And so she's fixated on the fact that if they break up, he's going to be for the streets again. That isn't any of your business. If y'all break up, what he does is on him. That ain't none of your business. And so what are you trying to do? Save him from the streets? If that's where he wants to be, that's where he wants to be. That's not your responsibility, And, Jessica's going on about the first year of our relationship, he was out there. Why are you still there? You haven't forgiven him. You just don't want anyone else to have him, right? But meanwhile, you're torturing yourself for these past 3 years, because they've been together 4 and it's happened the first year. If he hasn't cheated on you or anything since, and Lord knows, please let me tell you, I know what it's like to be cheated on, and I know how difficult it is to get over that. But at the same time, like Dr. Nicole says, you choose. So you chose to stay. And if you're choosing to stay and resent the whole time, then you're only impacting yourself. Like, you're living unhappy and you don't have to. If And this is what I wanted to say on Ready to Love review, my Ready to Love review, and I don't think I did. It is okay to walk away. You can walk away, right? And why are you staying? I can't wait to find out what is it about him that she feels like she has to stay. I feel that way about everybody. Why do you feel like this person is so valuable in your life that you have to be there? Or is it really about you? And 9 times out of 10, it's about you. You knew what this man was, and you got in a relationship with him, and you decided to stay. What is it about you? Like, that's an internal thing you have to deal with, right? Because you don't have to be there. So, Dr. Nicole's like, why are we there? Why are you talking about the past and we're right here? Why are you worried about him being with other women and we're here? And Dr. Nicole said we got a lot of work to do, but Jessica is like scared. She's terrified. She's terrified of leaving him. And I wonder if she just doesn't want to be alone. But being with you isn't being alone. And you have to be okay with being with you. And you should never settle so that you can say you have someone. Your identity should never be wrapped up in another person, right? Especially a person that you didn't bring here. Now, you bring your children here, you're going to be a mother. You're going to always be a mother, right? That's one thing. But a partner, like, a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you shouldn't be that afraid to lose somebody in such an unhealthy environment. And again, I understand. We've all been there. We've all had that one relationship we didn't want to let go of. But her distrust, the trust issue in that relationship is such a huge issue. She's basically torturing herself every day. And that's heartbreaking. I think Jessica has some abandonment issues. And, Dr. Nicole talked about fear. And she was like, your fear is not fact. Like, you can't just make things up and decide that that's what it is. A lot of times people with abandonment issues or issues with abandonment or who've been abandoned basically, they set up a scenario so that they won't be surprised once the scenario happens. You brace yourself for the worst because other people have left. Most important people have left, i.e. your parents. Whether that was divorce, whether it was adopted, whatever the case may be, someone left you, right? However they left you, if they were never present, like they worked all the time, or they passed away, no matter what, someone leaving you at a certain point in your life can cause you to have abandonment issues. And that's something that has to be addressed. And Jessica is showing signs of someone with deeply rooted abandonment issues. And living in that, so she's living in that fear and she's preparing herself for the worst. She's preparing herself for him. But there's power in your words and in your beliefs. So you're basically putting that off on your relationship. If he hasn't given you a reason in the past 3 years to feel like he's going to cheat on you and leave you, but you keep living in that, eventually it's going to happen. Or you're going to push him away. Why would anybody want to stay in a relationship where the person doesn't trust them? Because it's so much work. You can't relax. You guys have to spend all this time and energy trying to make sure you feel comfortable and you feel trusted. No one wants that assignment day in and day out. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of energy. And it's quite exhausting. So they go over Sean's date, and there's this exchange where Rhonda's pretty much like, I'm not worried about it. Sean says he finally feels like he can be around a woman and be faithful. So Sean was really out here, right? But I commend him for wanting to do better and committing and being aware that he has a challenge in this area, right? And the fact that he's mindful, because people will deny that they have that issue, like Darian. So the dynamic of their relationship is interesting, and I think that's one of the reasons why Sean wants to make sure he is able to stand on his own 2 feet within their relationship and isn't willing to go into a partnership with her committing because she likes control. So, and Dr. Nicole basically brought that to her attention because, she's like, there's consequences for everything, which LaRonda's right. There are consequences for all of your actions, but how she said it was like, yeah, you can do it, but I'm gonna punish you for it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a threatened way. And knowing that he already has like his insecurities, the ones that he has besides the insecurity of him possibly not being a faithful man, she's kind of like playing on it. It is actually a form of manipulation. And I know some people aren't going to like that, but it's true. It's a form of manipulation. Like, you need me. That's basically what she's saying. You need me. And, I will withdraw myself from you. I will take what you love from you. That's a form of manipulation. And that's basically what she was doing. But Dr. Nicole called her out on it. So, one of the reasons why I say love you for who you are at the end of my podcast and at the end of my episodes is because that is so very, very important. In order for someone to truly, truly love you, you have to love you for who you are, right? If you don't love you, you're going to hide half of you or that part of you. You're going to give a person a version of you that's not you, and then you deceive this person, and then all hell breaks loose later on. And this conversation between Dr. Nicole and Jessica is a prime example. So Dr. Nicole's asking the gentleman, what do you want to do? You want to go out with these ladies again? Or do you want to pursue someone else? And Eric was like, the young lady was nice, but basically I don't think she's can offer me anything more. I'm going to move on. And Jessica, it was like, ooh, okay, good, I'm happy. And she started smiling and cheesing because before then her legs were shaking and everything else. And Dr. Nicole let her know this is not sustainable. And that's what I was saying earlier. You're torturing yourself. Why? If you can't trust the person you're trying to build a life with, why are you there? Let me tell you something. Stress is just as bad, or if not worse, than a terrible diet and poor exercise. Like, it is really, 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 stress is really hard on your body. That is so much stress to live under that much fear every single day, just worrying about whether or not your mate is going to cheat on you. So Dr. Nicole asks Sean, what does he want to do? And Sean says he's going to go on a date with someone else. And Dr. Nicole basically inquires why. And Sean says because the date was kind of too perfect. You should have saw LaRonda's face. But the date was too perfect, and, basically he doesn't want to test the waters. Like, no. And, again, commend him for being mindful enough to say, I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Cheating is all about opportunity. If a man has an opportunity to cheat, he's going to cheat. I mean, there's other factors, of course, but if he gets the opportunity, he's going to take the opportunity. And for an individual to be aware that I can't be in this situation because it's not good for me is great self-awareness. And I have to commend that. I do. So Dr. Nicole asks Darian, what do you want to do? And Darian is basically saying, listen, I know the goal of this process, but this date scared me a little. And he didn't come out with a decision. And again, you may not always want to hear what your partner has to say, but you have to hear the truth, right? And the truth, like they say, the truth will set you free. You have to hear the truth. You guys aren't going to resolve anything. You can't move forward. You can't make any decisions if you're holding things back or lying about it. It's just not going to equate to a great outcome. So we're going to see next week what he decides to do. The thing with Darren is I think he has internal struggles. I think everyone does, But I think he has a lot of internal struggles. Again, he was a celebrity. And so when you go from having one form of yourself to going to another form of yourself, people struggle with that because the identity is wrapped up. Like I said earlier, the identity is tied to who they are. I'm Darian, part of this group. I'm a rapper, right? Now I'm Darian. So you really, really have to be secure in yourself. You really have to know who you are. You really have to have a relationship with yourself and be comfortable and know that you're so much more than the things that you do and the things that you can be tied to and the image that people have of you. You know, you're greater than that. So that's my takeaway there. I enjoy this show because like I said, I like Dr. Nicole. I don't like the whole go out and date somebody else, but I understand the premise of the show. So it's what it is. So comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree with my commentary or not. What are your predictions? What do you guys think is going to happen? This is going to be interesting. This is an interesting dynamic of a group here. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for tuning in. Love you for who you are. Thank you for letting me speak. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.